Today on our 2016 Polaris Sportsman 570, we're going to be taking a look at and installing the Bulldog Winch Powersports Series ATV winch. And in conjunction with that, we'll also be using the Bulldog Winch custom fit steel ATV mount. This is what our winch looks like installed. This will really come in handy for you if you get stuck or a friend gets stuck. It really helps get you out of a jam. Or if you just need some assistance of getting over some rough terrain, the winch can always come in handy. I'll show you how the winch works. In this particular case, we're using the remote. So as you can see, it's pretty quiet and it comes out nice and fast actually. Well, the cable is galvanized steel, so to help prevent rust and corrosion. It's 50 foot long. The motor is 1 horsepower and it can handle up to 2,500 pounds. One thing I do really like is the fairlead rollers here on the side. Chances are pretty good your anchor point will never be a straight shot. So with these on the side like this, even if your anchor point was completely sideways, you won't have any issues operating your winch. So one great feature here is the handlebar switch, and that'll come in handy if you're by yourself or obviously you need to operate the winch while you're on your ATV. Say if you're stuck in the river and going up a big embankment, you just don't want to pull it up with chances of it flipping or whatever. You can actually sit on it and steer it while you're going up that embankment. The custom fit winch mount makes life so much easier. It does all the work for you. You put your winch to the mount and the mount literally just bolts right to the Polaris frame. We'll show you how to do that now. To begin our install, we need to remove our lower bumper pan assembly using a T27 Torx bit. There will be 4 bolts, one here, here, and 2 down here at the bottom. We went ahead and pre-assembled our winch utilizing our custom fit mount. Now that this is all ready to go, we can go ahead and install it on our ATV. So the custom fit mount here is going to slide in between this area here, and there's already pre-drilled holes from the factory. So we're going to line our tabs up with those holes, and then we can get some nuts and bolts through there and get it all tightened down. It's a little easier to slide the motor through the frame first, and we can line our holes up. Now with all the bolts loosely installed, you can go ahead and snug them all down. Now with our winch mounted, we can focus on getting the wiring done. The first thing we need to do is disconnect our battery. You can break the terminals loose with a 10mm socket and then finish turning them with your hand to get them disconnected. So next we went ahead and ran our winch wires, and we did that by connecting our black and red wires in our kit. And don't forget to, before you connect your wires, don't forget to put your little black rubber boot protectors over your wires. But on the Sportsman 570 here, we ran it up along the frame with a few zip ties. And actually in the storage compartment, there is some rubber caps. We pop those out and enlarge these holes just a little bit. And both wires actually fit right up in there really nice. The next step, once you have those wires ran in there, is go ahead and run your other cables in the kit from your battery. So hook the red wire up to your positive terminal, the black wire up to your negative terminal, and we actually just follow the frame rail up and then over, and there was actually another drain plug there. We enlarged it a little bit and run those wires through there. So here's our wires running through the holes that we enlarged on both sides. We ran them up to our relay conductor here. We actually just bolted our relay conductor to the fairing. And you'll check your instructions for your particular wiring diagram, but ours, both of the black wires were mounted here on the right side, and both of the red wires were mounted here on the left side. With all of our main wires hooked up, we can focus on wiring up our switches. The green and black wire that comes off of our relay conductor here, those will be for our switches. Here's some of the connection points. Now I can show you how we ran ours. In this particular application, our customer wanted a handlebar switch and a remote switch so he could operate his winch when he's not on the four-wheeler. So to hook up our remote one, we had to drill a little hole and mount our wiring here. Then we just ran it through, and we had a bunch of extra wire that comes with a lot of it. We actually drilled a hole on this side and ran the green and black wire out and made a connection there from our conductor relay. Now here is our handlebar switch. You can mount yours however you prefer. Now it's a little tough to tell because all the wires kind of blend into each other, but we actually just ran the wire down and through here and kind of just fished it down along the rest of this wiring. And did the same thing as the other side. We just drilled a hole and ran our green and black wire through to our connection point there. So with all of our switches hooked up, we now need to focus on our two ignition wires. And those wires will be connected to the harness on your switches. That'll be these red wires here. So we need to hook those up to a source. When we turn the key on, we have power. When we turn the key off, we don't have power. So there's a bunch of different options you kind of use to your preference. We, however, used our cigarette lighter housing here. So that way when we turn our key on, we have power here. When we turn it off, we don't. And so we simply took these three screws, one here, one here, one here on the back under the gauge. This blue cover popped off. We were able to make a connection inside. Now to test everything out, you go ahead and turn your key on, hit your switch, and make sure your winch is functioning properly. And that'll complete our look at the Bulldog Winch Powersports Series ATV winch and the Bulldog Winch Custom Fit Steel ATV mount on our 2016 Polaris Sportsman 570.